And chat. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Root Double Before Crime After Days. So we're about to get the good ending in the Cosby timeline. I think this stream will be Cosby and then the June ending, and we'll see how much time we have left after that. Probably quite a bit, considering there'll be less that I can't fast forward through. Or I should just say there will be more to fast forward through. More than I can fast forward. I can't frickin' talk today. Oh, I'm so tired. There'll be more that we can fast forward through in the June ending, so that'll probably go quicker. So we'll see. We will see. Get right back to it. Let's find a way to escape. Watase said that to Cosby as they entered Area 3. If there's nowhere safe in the facility, then getting outside's our only shot. However, we can't try to end the lockdown by putting the fires out in Area N, naturally. We'll have to find another way. Okay, so remind me. The AD, was that created by Labo's people? Or is that widely available as an anti-radiation drug? Yes, but is there a way out somewhere else? Moribe and I searched high and low for one before you woke up. I'm sure the commander and the other rescue workers outside did the same. It was created here. Is it used anywhere else? Or only here? But when you consider that there are no signs that they've broken their way in, our odds don't look very good. Good point. Watase had also looked for alternate escape routes after they'd found that escape via the cargo lift was impossible. But then other problems had taken over while he tried and failed to do that. And now they were... Watase suddenly remembered something at that moment. Wait, that's right. Have you remembered something? Watase nodded and looked Cosby in the eye. The pipes. Did you notice that thick pipe near the ceiling when we went to the engine room? Yes. Oh, the water pipes. Time to drown. The old man told me that it's an intake pipe used to take water from the nearby lake to use as a coolant for the nuclear reactor. He also said that there was constantly water running through the pipe, so it'd leak out and flood Labo if we ever broke a hole in there. But since there's no nuclear reactor, doesn't that cast doubt on the pipe's true purpose? A little bit, but that does still seem like a bad idea to open up. If that's just a dummy and we can escape through there... You're right, but I don't think it's a dummy. Perhaps it acts as the coolant for that giant machine? If that's the case, then that means there's still a risk that lava will flood if we break a hole in that pipe. What's the worst that can happen? Everyone drowns and or gets... Well, I guess they wouldn't get radiation sickness from it because there's no radiation. I see. Damn it, if only we had a way to turn off the flow of water. We may be able to come up with a plan if we figure out what that machine truly is. Once she said that, Watase's eyes widened. Hold on. That machine, it's... Huh? I just remembered where I've seen that machine before. Where? The engine room. There was a list of machine manuals in the terminal in that room. And there was a picture of that giant machine on the very first page. You're right. Maybe there's a way to turn off the water written in that very manual. Captain, let's go check it out right away. We have 15 minutes. Watase nodded and headed for the engine room. They entered the engine room for the first time in what felt like forever. Watase and Kazumi laid Natahiko and Salyu onto the floor, ran up to the terminal, and began fiddling with it. That was a new background. WX Amplifier Operation Manual. This is it. Watase and Kazumi brought their shoulders together as they looked over the image on the monitor. WX Particle Amplifier Operation Manual. Introduction. This document is an instruction manual for the WX Particle Amplifier. Due to the fact that there is great danger involved in its operation, please read the manual carefully before you proceed. Furthermore, the properties of WX particles have extremely harmful effects to the body. Examples of this include dysesthesia, brain dysfunctions, genetic abnormalities, etc. The symptoms are dependent on the level of particle energy, as listed below. Without AD, 0 MSV to 2000 MSV, no effects. 2000 MSV to 4000 MSV, dysesthesia, nausea, headaches, genetic abnormalities. 4000 MSV to 8000 MSV, brain dysfunctions, faint consciousness. 8000 MSV, unconsciousness. The intensity and probability of displaying the aforementioned symptoms vary depending on the energy levels. With AD, 0 MSV to 6000 MSV, no effects. 6000 MSV to 8000 MSV, dysesthesia, nausea, headaches, genetic abnormalities. 8000 MSV to 12,000 MSV, brain dysfunctions, faint consciousness. 12,000 MSV, unconsciousness. AD adds up to 4,000 MSV of protection, hence the increased levels. When using the amplifier normally, the particle energy levels should not exceed 2000 MSV. When used for advanced experiments, the particle energy levels should not exceed 4000 MSV. Tachibana, do you have any idea what this thing's talking about? No, I've never even heard of WX particles before. Though I can assume that they're similar to radiation, in that they're both capable of having harmful effects to the body. Watase felt the same, but now wasn't the time to be thinking about that. Yes, it is. I don't see anything in here about coolant. Watase read through the manual until a certain passage caught his eye. Aha. Lake Rokume. Water. Okay, decontamination and coolant device. Decontamination, huh? You really decontaminate the water? The engine room has 4 circulation pumps. And hot water. Ooh, that's going to be burning hot. Regarding water coolant system, the amplifier generates large quantities of heat while in operation. Thus, a water coolant system has been installed in the engine room that takes in natural water from Lake Rokume to utilize as coolant fluid. The coolant is drawn in through an intake pipe and is drained through a drainage pipe. Both pipes are 1 meter in diameter, 2.4 centimeters thick. Both have a volumetric flow rate of approximately 1200 liters per minute. The coolant taken in by the intake pipe is drained once it has increased in temperature by approximately 25 degrees Celsius. In other words, if Lake Rokume is at 28 degrees Celsius during August, the coolant is expelled at 53 degrees Celsius. Well, you're not getting out that way. The control of the water flow is carried out by a forced circulation pump located in the drainage pipe. Furthermore, there is a filtering mechanism within the intake pipe in order to prevent any foreign bodies from contaminating the coolant fluid. The filtering mechanism operates at high speeds to ensure that only distilled and filtered water is used as coolant. The expulsion of foreign bodies, such as algae, is carried out by a foreign body expulsion outlet located in the filtering mechanism. Should the filtering mechanism ever break down, there is a risk of unfiltered water entering the amplifier and causing severe damage. Therefore, a floodgate located in the intake pipe will close in the event that the filtering mechanism breaks down, thereby preventing the flow of unfiltered water. Aha! So we break it and the water stops flowing. At the same time, the forced circulation pump and amplifier will cease operation, stopping the flow of coolant. The location of each device can be seen in the diagram below. This is it. Watase muttered that in a low voice as he looked at it. But Watase's probably too big to really get through there, so he'll probably send Kazumi. So this really is our only way out. He looked up at the ceiling to find the intake pipe and drainage pipe running side by side. How the fuck are we going to get up there? There was a ladder next to the pipes that led right up to them. Watase strained his ears and heard the sound of water running. He could also see a large machine located below the intake pipe. It was, apparently, the filtering mechanism. If we destroy the filtering mechanism, then that'll stop the water from running. Then we can escape to Lake Rokume through the pipe. Yeah, but how are you going to get in? You need the door cutter. You're right. But what do you plan on doing after you've stopped the water from running? Huh? According to the diagram, the intake pipe is located under Lake Rokume's water level, meaning Labo will still be flooded if you open a hole in it, running water or not. So that means opening a hole in the drainage pipe instead is probably our only shot. If we stop the water and then open a hole on top of the pipe, then that means not much water should leak out of it. However, the drainage pipe is filled with all that heated water from that amplifier. Well, hopefully it'll continue proceeding through the drainage pipe. So if it really is 53 degrees Celsius, you won't last in there. We could always open a hole in the bottom of the drainage pipe and drain all the water out of it that way, but yeah, too dangerous. We don't know how much water will come pouring out of that thing. So in the slight chance that we get floods after floods of water coming out, then there's a possibility everyone still here will drown. That means Yuri, Moribe, the old man, and all the other survivors that we don't care about. We can't risk everything on an all-or-nothing bet. Well, this was a big waste of time, then. I thought I was not supposed to be wasting time, which means we really should just open a hole on top of the drainage pipe. And that means we have 3 problems that we have to solve first. Number 1, how do we open a hole in the pipe? Number 2, how do we ensure that we can breathe inside the flooded pipe? Number 3, how do we walk through 500 meters of 53 degrees Celsius water from here to Lake Rokume? You don't. You shimmy because it's a meter thick. It's a meter wide. You're not going to be able to get through there. Let's think of a way. If we solve those problems, we're home free. Excuse me. Yes. Watase and Kazumi looked at each other and started thinking, which they haven't been doing for the entire time they've been in Labo. Let's figure out how to open a hole in the pipe first. Well, you already know how. You need the door saw. If we could somehow take the engine cutter from Moribe. No, out of the question. We have an alternative to that anyway. Huh? Hiyama's axe. It's lying in area N right. That's not going to cut through a metal pipe. If the pipe's just 2.4 centimeters thick, then I shouldn't have any trouble opening up a hole in that thing with a little elbow grease. Yeah? Yeah, from where? Are you going to get up on the ladder and do it? Because the ladder is not going to give you a place to stand and swing the axe, Watase. You think you can do it? Just who do you think I am? Kazumi grinned when she saw Watase trying to act tough. That's not a grin, that's a slight smile. I trust you. Alright, the next step. How do we keep breathing through the flooded pipe? I have an idea about that. What is it? There's an air tank in the makeshift base. It has enough air in it to last around 20 minutes. I cannot say for certain that it's enough to get through 500 meters of water, but it's our only chance. So that's what that was for, set up at the start of the game. Chekhov's air filter, or air tank. I'm tired. But I thought we couldn't use the air tank because the suit's faceplate is broken. It'll be alright. You'll be fine so long as you grab onto the hose sticking out of the tank and put it directly in your mouth. We don't do that during firefighting dispatches because it leaves you with only one free hand and doesn't allow you to talk. So I never suggested it up until now, but if all I'm doing is walking through the water, then it might turn out okay, huh? It was a very risky plan, but one they had to bet on. Their plan was looking more and more feasible with each problem they tackled. Well, the biggest problem is yet to come. You'll boil in that water. Well, not boil. That takes twice the heat. But you will die in 53 degrees Celsius water, what to say. But for all their efforts, the true problem still remained. Okay, then, let's move on to the last problem. Number 3. How to withstand 53 degrees Celsius water. Kazumi nodded and answered. The first thing you should know is that 53 degrees Celsius air is not the same thing as 53 degrees Celsius water. Since sweat cannot evaporate to cool the skin underwater, hot water does far more damage to the body than hot air. You've never been in a 53 degrees Celsius bath, right? That's because your body could never withstand water of that temperature. I wonder how hot the hot showers I take are. So, should we wait for the water to cool down after we stop it from running? That'd be the best way, but it'd probably take too much time. A 2.4 centimeter pipe's gotta be like a thermos, right? Indeed. What if we tried running it once we've confirmed the water temperature's gone down a little and risk a burn? Even if we could withstand it, the survivors, especially Tenkawa, are badly wounded. I do not believe they'd last. I see. Taking Natsuhiko with us out of here is already difficult enough as it is anyway, isn't it? Yeah, you've only got the one mask, so only one person is going through this pipe. But if just one of us manages to escape, they can contact the commander and the others and have them help us. Or they could even call the police. Then they'd be able to restrain Mr. Ukita and Moribe. Yeah, if they could even get in. So then what you're saying is, we need to find a way so that at least one of us can endure the water temperature and escape, huh? Watase thought carefully about everything he'd been through up until this point. He mobilized all the excessive knowledge he'd gained in the last 5 hours. Think, is there anything in this facility right now that can withstand heat? He and Kazumi were wearing firefighting suits. They had fire-resistant properties, but they probably wouldn't be any use against hot water. It's recommended that you shower in 37 degrees Celsius water. Gotcha. What's more, there were cuts in them all over their sleeves and neck area, so water would just get in from there. Also, you're going to have an opening for the air filter. Well, I guess you could have that. No, the mask. The masks are broken. Well, could you keep the air tank under your suit and breathe into it from there? This is a bad plan. Then is there anything we can use to completely seal the damaged spots? You got any more of that? Oh, what the hell's it called? The healing goo. But even if they could, their faces were still completely exposed, so it was probably impossible to make the whole thing airtight. Chiron, that's the thing. Come on, don't give up. Think, there's just gotta be a way. He remembered everything he'd seen up until this point. First, there was the gear he'd observed in the makeshift base. the air tank, air jack, AD, Procyon, and engine cutter. Next was the things he had on him, his PDA and security card. Both were useless here. Finally, there was what they'd found in the facility. The transfusion packs, transfusion kit, oxygen tank, Chiron, distilled water, the pistol, all of them useless. Did I see anything else? The answer has to be there. I know it. He looked back on the path he'd taken to reach this point. He'd woken up, met Kazumi and June, then saved Yuri. They'd geared up at the makeshift base, met Enna and Ukita, then began their search after seeing the images of Natsuhiko and the others. They'd discovered their co-worker's body, but still continued the search regardless. Then turned on the sprinkler system and put out the fires. Ah! Watase gasped. He remembered something Kazumi had said. Oh, is the sprinkler system from the filtered water? Could we turn on the sprinkler system and get rid of all the water? Something way back at the start of the search when they were at the makeshift base. Incidentally, we also had 2 radiation protection suits, but they got damaged when we were putting out fires, so we can't use them anymore. They were fine pieces of equipment, with excellent fire and water resistant, airtight, and even allowed you to connect an air tank directly to their faceplates, but the faceplates are broken. Kazumi had told him that as she'd been pointing to the ruined protection suits. Their faceplates had been cracked. Oh, but the Dojima's faceplate is not destroyed. He then remembered another thing he'd seen a while back. A body whose lower half had been burned, wearing a... Watase's eyes widened. Those 2 memories held the answer he needed. I got it. Huh? I figured out a way to get through the hot water. We just have to desecrate a corpse. What is it? The protection suits. They finally proved useful at the very end. Kazumi had said that the protection suits were airtight and had high water resistance. So if he wore one of them, hot water wouldn't leak in. That would turn the 53 degrees Celsius water into 53 degrees Celsius air, a temperature he could withstand. But our protection suits have already been damaged. Don't worry, I already have a backup plan for that. What backup plan? I need to go gather the things we'll need to escape right now. Tell her the plan, Watase. Could you stay with these kids and wait here? Hesitation filled Kazumi's eyes. It was indeed dangerous to go off on one's own in the facility, now that Ukita and June were prowling it. However, I know you're worried, but one person moving around will stick out less than 2. Please, don't try it. Watase said that and stepped on the ladder. I'll be right back as soon as I get all the gear. All right. Be careful. Watase nodded and descended the ladder as fast as he could. He then headed for the makeshift base in Area 2. He picked up the air tank and one of the wrecked protection suits. This won't be enough to get us out of here. Watase took off the cracked faceplate, threw it aside, and then ran out of the base. He went through Area N, picked up the axe there, and passed out before he escaped, then headed straight for Area 4 this time. All the protection suits I've seen so far have been damaged in some way. Tachibana and Moribe's have broken faceplates, Dojima's was all battered up, and the lower half of Hiyama's completely burned up. But if I combine them together... Watase ran into the elevator hall with that thought in mind. He then found himself faced with Hiyama's body. Sorry about this, Hiyama. Watase apologized to Hiyama and then ripped his faceplate off. Now I have everything I need. He had the axe, an air tank, a perfectly intact faceplate, and an undamaged protection suit. Okay, so is Watase or Kazumi going to go through? Watase carried them all and went off running again. He headed towards the engine room, where Kazumi and the kids were waiting for him. And Moribe's there. Sorry I took so long. Kazumi ran over to him as soon as he returned to the engine room. Captain, where did you get that protection suit? I took the undamaged parts of multiple suits and combined them to get this. I never thought of that. Kazumi said that with admiration in her voice. Watase nodded, then continued. Now we can finally get out of here. Yes. Kazumi nodded, then pointed to the pipe near the ceiling. According to the blueprint, the pipe further in is apparently the drainage pipe. If you break the intake pipe by mistake, then all of Labo will be flooded. Please, be careful. Got it. I won't make a mistake like that after coming so far. I'll go break the filtering mechanism first. Just hold on a minute. Watase gripped the axe and then walked over to the filtering mechanism. He then swung down on the control board with all his might. After hitting it several times, the electronic display was destroyed, and the machine kept working because that's not how computers function. The quiet sound of running water finally stopped. I did it! Now we can enter the pipe. Watase nodded and turned to Kazumi. Okay then, time for the last choice. There's only one protection suit. Who do you think should go, me or you? I'm going to save, in case this is a choice. Mind you, whoever stays here will still be exposed to that WX particle stuff anyway. She's going to be selfless and send Watase. Kazumi hesitated for a moment before answering. I think I should go. Oh, no, okay. She is being pragmatic. Good. Why? Because going into the pipe is more dangerous than staying here. It's still a 500-meter walk through heated water. Okay, she is being selfless. And we have no guarantee that the air tank will hold out the whole way. I can't let you face such danger. Kazumi stared right at him. Also, it would be weird if we left while not having resolved the June and Ukita situation. Watase gave a faint smile. I thought you'd say that. Suddenly, chokehold. But you know, it can't be that way. Huh? Your legs hurt, remember? You think you can walk through 500 meters of such a cramped pipe with that leg? No, it's only a scratch. I made it this far carrying Miss Sanamiya, did I not? But you were lagging behind a little bit. That lowers your chances of survival. Excuse me. Whoever goes into the pipe will bear the weight of all the lives remaining in this facility. In that case, we should gamble on slightly higher chances of success, right? So that's why I'll be the one to go into the pipe. Watase said that in a clear voice. This is an order. I will not allow any objections. Why did you ask her to begin with? Captain, I object. Well now, what are you talking about? This isn't like you. But at first, I was a hopeless weakling who had to keep getting saved by you. I've always wanted you to accept me. So now that we're at the very end, let me show off for once. Kazumi looked at the floor silently. All right. And then finally gave him a resigned nod. Watase felt a wave of confidence wash over him. All right, then. Now let's get ready to break a hole in the pipe. Help me put on the protection suit. Yes. Watase, put the protection suit on. Kazumi set the air tank in the faceplate. Watase then carried the faceplate and air tank under his right arm while holding the axe with his left hand, then turned to Kazumi. It is a choice. Okay, Shy, what am I doing? Kazumi high or Watase high? Kazumi high. Okay, cool. I love how we still got June high despite what's going on. Okay, I'm all set. I'll call for help as soon as I get out of here. I admit I'm scared about leaving you and the others behind, but please wait for me. Romantic music. Kazumi nodded without uttering a word. Watase felt his heart ache at the sad look on her face. She was the woman who'd once been his girlfriend. His partner, who he'd fallen in love with because they were similar, but had also broken up with because they were too similar. That's why Watase was painfully aware of how she felt. How she was worried about him, and how she felt discouraged about being left in this place with no AD. But they didn't even have time to lament their parting. This isn't the time to be taking it slow. But in spite of that thought, Watase couldn't hold back his feelings for... Oh, not now, Watase! Not his feelings as a rescue worker, but as a man. Kazumi. Watase called her by her first name for the first time since he'd woken up. Her eyes widened at the same time he kissed her lips. Oh, no is not the time, Watase. He could feel her gasp. He'd probably kissed those lips many times. They felt somewhat nostalgic to him, and he could also feel her heartbeat through them. Kazumi let the strength flow out of her body as if she were giving herself entirely to him. Watase embraced her tightly, and then gently let go of her. Kazumi looked at him with moist eyes. Watase, you just called me Kazumi. Does that mean you got your memories back? No. Watase answered her honestly. I can't remember anything, no matter how hard I try. No matter how hard I try. Come on, translators. Nothing about the time we were dating or why we broke up. But while I can't remember them, my feelings from back then still seem to linger in the depths of my heart. They're all my feelings for you. All of the love I felt for you from the bottom of my heart. A faint tinge of red covered Kazumi's cheeks. Watase gently caressed those cheeks. Hey, Kazumi, maybe I no longer have the right to be saying, don't say you love her, man. Oh. But if we make it out of this whole thing alive, why don't we take another walk through that park? That was the one fragment of their past together that Watase had remembered a short while ago. It was probably a memory of a happy time in both their lives. Kazumi then smiled and nodded. If we get out of here... Alright, then it's a promise. This is absolutely the canon ending. Watase said that with a smile, then put the faceplate on. Here I go. And with that shout, he began climbing the ladder. Once he reached the top of the drainage pipe, he readied the axe. He then swung it down onto the pipe with all his might, and it bounced off because it's solid steel. Sparks flew as it created a small hole in the pipe, and then water sprayed out all over him, killing him with heat. The pipe was as solid as a rock, so it was only natural that one strike wasn't enough to open up a hole big enough for someone to fit through. Ooh! Watase let out a roar and kept striking the pipe over and over again. He put all of his strength into each swing. I love how he's hitting the pipe, but the only noise we're hearing is the whiff of the axe, so it sounds like he's missing every swing. Filling them with his will to escape from this place. The hole kept on getting bigger and bigger. Steam gushed out of the pipe, and some of the hot water poured out. And it was only a little. He really had stopped the water from running. He then kept on swinging away until the axe's blade had finally smashed. But he'd already done enough. He'd opened up a hole big enough for him to climb into. All right. Oh my god, the boobification. The anime boobs. The boob socking. Watase looked down the ladder. Kazumi was looking up at him with a worried look on her face. Tachibana, I've opened up a hole in the pipe. I'm going now. Take care of those kids for me. Kazumi soon answered him. Captain, please be sure to come back, okay? Boobs would have gotten stuck in the pipe. Oh, she totally would have. Please be sure to keep that promise we just made. Yeah. Watase nodded, then climbed into the hole. He was now in the only way out of this facility. The pipe was filled with hot water. Darkness dyed the place pitch black. I would die of terror. I'm afraid of drowning, and I'm afraid of tight spaces where I can't get out of the tight space. Like, I'm afraid of tight tunnels and tight caves. So this would be a nightmare. Darkness dyed the place pitch black. Watase could feel the heat through his protection suit. If he could walk 500 meters through this thing, he'd end up at Lake Rokume. Here I go. Watase steeled himself, then began his lonely trek through the darkness to save everyone. And then suffocated. Game over. What? Excuse me? Excuse me? What? Okay. So I've got to get a bunch of different endings to get the golden ending, I guess. Ooh, question mark, voice actors. Okay. Hang on. Is this a situation where I have to get all the regular endings before I can get the golden ending? Or was that just a good ending? Because if so, I'll have to do Anna's ending as well. Maybe I just have to see all their flag scenes? Are you still there, Shy? Probably typing. Don't skip the credits. Okay, so there is a post-credits scene. This is a rad track. I'm gonna have a Hershey egg while I wait. Hi, Cobweb. You want to say hi to chat? Probably don't, but I might as well ask. Oh, credits are done. What's that? Are you kidding me? Endless despair. Watase had walked about 50 meters from the hole he'd broken open in the pipe and come against a barrier, I'll bet. But now, he stood frozen in the middle of that flooded pipe. Shit! There was something blocking his path. It was too dark for him to make it out. But he could already tell what it was. It's a filtration system. It was the forced circulation pump that had been on the blueprint. But he'd never expected it to completely block the inside of the pipe. Why? I can't have come all this way for nothing. Watase punched the pump. It was hard and didn't budge an inch, just like the bulkhead. It didn't seem like something that human strength alone could deal with. Damn it! Break! Break! I can make it to the lake if I can get rid of this damned thing. Then I can save everyone. Watase kept on desperately punching it, but his blows had little strength under the water. It soon grew painful for him to breathe. Crap. There was still enough air in the air tank, but exerting his strength in 53 degrees Celsius water was doing a real number on his heart and lungs. Despair rapidly overwhelmed him. His head was boiling from all the heat entrapped in the protection suit. If he stayed there, he'd only be ticking down the time to his death. God damn it! Watase kicked the pump, then began going back the way he came. Watase took off the faceplate once he got out of the boiling water. He then climbed onto the pipe and descended the ladder. Captain? Watase turned around to find Kazumi running towards him. You're back already? I'm sorry. There was an obstruction in the pipe. I couldn't even make it to Lake Rokume. So much for this plan. Could we use the engine cutter or something to destroy that obstruction? The pipe's full of water. I don't think you can use the engine cutter underwater. I doubt it can even be destroyed through human strength to begin with. We have to find another escape route. But there are no other ways. Let's try starting all over from the beginning. We'll think of a way to open the bulkhead by Area 2's emergency staircase. That couldn't even be called a plan. This visual novel had a Kickstarter? Huh. How much did it make? Probably not that much. But they had no other options. Kazumi just silently nodded. Excuse me. Watase took off his protection suit and picked up Natsuhiko. Tachibana, let's go. Yes. Kazumi followed suit by picking up Salyu, and they left the room. According to Watase's watch, it was currently 3:09 p.m. Only 7 minutes left until their AD wore off. Watase and Kazumi's steps were weighed down by the heavy chains of despair. There was a funny credits fake out. It had been hours since they'd last been there. The bulkhead was still closed. Absolutely nothing had changed. It got $152,000, which was about $30,000 short of the first stretch goal. Well, that's a shame. How much does this game cost? If it's 20 or 30 bucks, that's another 5,000 copies, I guess. 5 to 7,000 copies. Hang on, I'm going to look at something on the store page. Uh, 225 reviews. Release date April 27th, 2016. So we're coming up on 8 years this month. The bulkhead was still closed. Absolutely nothing had changed. Think it's possible to destroy the walls around it? Kazumi, still carrying Salyu on her back, pondered Watase's question. It would probably be difficult. We should operate under the assumption that the walls are made from the same material as the bulkhead. Apparently, it's a relatively common problem with high-end locks and safes, that if you make it too hard to break the lock, they'll just go through the wall next to it to get what they want. If they weren't, then the commander and the others would have already blasted their way through them long ago. I see. Then maybe the ceiling is... But before Watase could finish his sentence... Oh, are we cornered? His surroundings suddenly grew dark. Oh, yeah, this did happen in some of the bad endings. A blackout. It seemed the facility's power was out. Watase and Kazumi looked around in confusion as a mechanical voice suddenly rang out. Main and backup power supplies offline. Now switching to emergency power. Excuse me. The lights came back on in coordination with that voice. Root double's $35. Huh. It was somewhat dark, but nothing that would hamper their visibility. What was that? Why did the main power go out now of all times? Watase turned to Kazumi to ask her this, then gasped. Oh shit! Metamorphosis! What is with this heroic music in this moment? What? Watase was struck speechless by what he was seeing. Salyu's slender arms were wrapped around Kazumi's neck like a snake strangling its prey. Ah! Kazumi gasped painfully for air as Salyu glared at Watase from behind her. Release Natsuhiko, or else I'll choke this woman to death. Stop it, Salyu. We're just trying to save you guys. Why can't you understand that? I thought I told you to stop telling such transparent lies. You think you can trick me after you shot Natsuhiko? Those words shot straight through Watase's heart. What? Wait, what did you say? You didn't know, woman. You're lying, right? The captain would never do anything like that, right? Watase had no recollection of shooting Natsuhiko. However, he had memories that he couldn't explain. Watase just stood there at a total loss for an answer. Salyu then whispered into Kazumi's ear. If you don't know, then I'll tell you. This man is a terrorist. He attacked us last night and this morning as well. Everything that's happening here is all his fault. Even you should have questioned that idea several times. Stop it. I don't want to hear any more. I trust the captain. Then take a close look at what's in that man's pocket. She was of course talking about the gun that Watase had picked up in Area N. That gun probably belonged to this man to begin with. He used it to shoot Natsuhiko. But at that moment, I said stop! Kazumi throws her over her shoulder, dropping her on the ground and breaking her neck. Kazumi screamed and violently shook Salyu off her. Salyu's body was sent flying backwards. She then landed on the staircase. All Watase could do was watch the whole thing from beginning to end. Salyu proceeded to tumble down the staircase. She finally stopped at the landing of the stairs at B1. She wasn't budging an inch. Salyu! Watase frantically ran over to Salyu and checked her condition. But luckily, she did not display any injuries such as bone fractures, and her pulse and breathing were stable as well. Watase breathed a sigh of relief just as Kazumi came walking down the staircase on shaky feet. Captain, is she? Her face was deadly pale. She looked really shaken up. It's okay, she's just passed out. I see. Kazumi's body was trembling. She then looked to Watase, with eyes full of fear. Tachibana? Kazumi was acting weirdly. Can you blame her after what Salyu just said? She then wrapped her arms around her body as if she were trying to hold herself back. Captain, She suddenly stopped talking as quickly as she'd begun. What's wrong? She didn't answer him. All she did was stare at him carefully. Anxiety welled up in Watase's heart. Tachibana, why are you looking at me like that? Wait, you don't believe what Salyu said, do you? It's ridiculous. There's no way in hell I could be a terrorist. I don't care if I have amnesia, I'm sure of that. You guys know better than anyone else that I've been a rescue worker for ages, don't you? Kazumi didn't answer. Watase's anxiety only grew worse. Soon enough, she began talking in a quiet voice, as if attempting to rid herself of her fear. Captain, may I ask you just one question? What is it? This mystery has been on my mind for a long time. Captain, why was it that you went down to the basement at 6:42 a.m. shortly after this accident occurred? I told you guys, it's because Dojima and Hiyama called for me on their radio. So what you're saying is that your radio could receive transmissions then, correct? But you know, I personally tried to reach you on your radio just a few minutes before that. Oh, uh-oh. Watase felt his insides freeze over. Now that she mentioned it, Kazumi had said something to that effect way back. Ooh, what does that mean? At 6:35 a.m., radio communication with Watase had suddenly ceased. There was an inconsistency with those words. Which meant, why was it that Dojima and Hiyama's transmission got through to your radio, yet mine did not? Did you make it so that my transmissions weren't received for some reason? So that you could sneak off during a life-saving mission and do something else? Hey, how long have you been thinking that? Ever since you said you got some of your memories back, when you told us why you went down to the basement. But I didn't say anything, because I trusted you. I figured that time discrepancy was just you remembering the time incorrectly. Kazumi lowered her eyes and continued in a shaky voice. I tried as hard as I could to trust you. I've trusted you for as long as I can remember. You know what, Watase? Give her the gun. Giving her the gun will win her over, I think. I've trusted you for as long as I can remember. No matter how much you changed, regardless of your amnesia. That's why I truly was happy when you held me in your arms earlier. I felt like you'd gone back to being your old self. But regardless, the past is just that and nothing more. No matter how much I tried to tell myself otherwise, I just... Tachibana? Just as she said that, Kazumi's face and tone of voice changed. I just can't do it, Watase. If what Miss Sanamiya said was true, then everything fits. When I think of this facility's true nature, and the past you, I realize that there's only one answer. What are you saying? If you are a murderer, then the least I can do is preserve your good name. Kazumi reached for a fire extinguisher stationed next to the emergency staircase. Preserve your good name? Are you gonna kill the kids to protect me? Or are you gonna kill me? What are you going to do with that thing? Kazumi didn't answer. Instead, she started talking again with a voice full of lament. You went down the wrong path, Watase. Now it's time for you to receive your punishment for that choice. The good ending, huh? The good ending? And a second later... Oh, that look in her eyes. Oof. Kazumi swung the fire extinguisher sideways. Ah! Watase immediately blocked it with his arm. His bones creaked beneath the force of Kazumi's merciless assault. Excuse me. Stop! Why are you doing this? Watase. I'm so sorry, Watase. This is the only thing I can do for you now. Everybody in this fucking place wants to kill me. Oh, yeah. Okay, maybe it's the radiation that makes people go crazy. Look at the look on her face. Though she was apologizing, Kazumi's eyes were filled with the intent to kill. Why is this happening to Tachibana, too? Watase shuddered, then promptly thrust Kazumi away. Kya! She fell on the staircase with the fire extinguisher still in hand. Watase took that chance to rush down to B1 and dash out of the stairwell, directly into the blade of June's engine cutter. He continued to carry Natsuhiko as he ran. He was worried about Solyu too, especially since she was still lying unconscious in the stairwell. But it was all he could do to try to take Natsuhiko to a safe place. Damn it, what the hell's going on? He and Kazumi had been seeing each other heart to heart just a short while ago. They had been trusting each other, so why? Was it all just wishful thinking on my part? But the pain in his arm from Kazumi's attack was all too real. It ached painfully with every vibration that came passing through him from the effort of running, as if to remind him of that harsh reality. He found himself blindly fleeing into one of the connecting passageways. But he heard footsteps coming down from just up ahead. Who's there? Please be Enna. No sooner had he thought that than did he see June heading in his direction. Captain! Oh, yep, she still wants to fucking kill me. She was still holding the engine cutter in her hands. Watase turned around and ran for it. He kept on carrying Natsuhiko and escaped into some other area. He was panting, his whole body hurt like mad. But just as he felt he could run no more, a dry sound reached his ears. Yah! Watase fell to the ground. His abdomen was hot. That heat soon warped into agony. He got shot! He'd been shot in his flank. Watase looked around as he pressed his hand against his abdomen. He couldn't see anyone, but he could hear a voice coming from somewhere. Got you this time, Captain Kasasagi. Old man? Oh, that looks like it really hurts. Then I'll bring you to rest right away as one last act of mercy. Watase stood up before Ukita finished talking. He reaffirmed his grip on Natsuhiko and started running again. All while blood was pouring from his flank. Fortunately, the bullet had apparently missed any organs. But the pain of the gunshot wound was great, and the bleeding just wouldn't stop. It is already for a quiet man. Solyu also wants to kill him. Shit! Shit! Watase ran as he looked for a safe place. Before long, he saw it. The connecting passageway to Area N. The only way to get past the gate that lay at the end was with the level N card that Watase had. Ooh, ah! Watase screamed and spurred himself onwards. He then made a break for Area N. He opened the gate and tumbled his way to the other side. Okay, so if the power of the facility is off, why is the WX particle leak still happening? He opened the gate and tumbled his way to the other side. A strange sensation ran through him, and his fingertips convulsed, most likely due to the effects of the WX particles. But Watase endured them. I'm the only one with a level N card, which means I can shake them off if I close the gate. But at that moment, he looked back at the open gate and spotted Kazumi in the passageway, fire extinguisher still in hand. Her glare pierced Watase, and then she made a mad dash straight for Watase. Come on, close, hurry up! The gate started to slowly shut, but it wouldn't be fast enough. Oh, okay. Kazumi ran through the open gate and swung her fire extinguisher down at Watase's head. Ah! Sparks filled Watase's vision. His body shook left and right as he lost all sense of balance. She's gonna kill me if I don't do something. And if I die now, then Natsuhiko will also be in danger. Those thoughts held Watase's splintering consciousness in place. He then mustered the last of his strength. Ah! And pushed Kazumi right out of Area N. Imagine if Yuri comes back and takes a shot at him. Yeah. I'm still waiting for Yuri to be the mastermind behind all this. Kazumi grunted at almost the exact same moment that the gate finished shutting. Watase could hear her voice on the other side. Watase! Watase! Open the gate, Watase! Her voice grew distant. Watase's headache and convulsions were growing more and more intense. Oh, the screen's blurring. Did the AD wear off? It is about that time, Watase. All strength left him the moment he thought that. He suddenly felt faint. Watase tried to fight off that feeling, but failed. The floor was growing closer and closer. Crap, I'm falling. Watase felt Natsuhiko's weight vanish from his back at the same time he fell. As the kid smoothly stands up, it seemed the force had flung him to the side. But there was no longer anything Watase could do about that. A thought made its way into Watase's faint consciousness. The thought that he should save the game. How did it come to this? Did I do something wrong? Thinking about it wouldn't yield an answer. He didn't know a thing. Way too many bizarre incidents had occurred in the past 6 hours. The sights and mysteries he'd witnessed up until that point flickered before his mind's eye. The loss of his memories. That was a long time ago. God, when did I start this? I started this back in like November, didn't I? The 9 of them being trapped in the facility. The murder victims they'd found. The survivor who'd run away from him time after time. The wrecked cargo lift and the body of the unidentified girl, who will be identified during before crime, the disappearance of their AD stock. The loss of any rhyme or reason to everything his companions said or did. The lack of any fires or nuclear reactor in Area N, and finding Natsuhiko on the brink of death instead. And the discovery and subsequent disappearance of Yuri's body. Was all of that actually real? He wasn't even sure of that anymore. But if it was real, then what the hell happened here? Where'd Yuri's body go? Kazumi, Jun, Ena, Ukita, and Yuri. The faces of all those people who Watase had met up until that point materialized in his brain. No, that's not all. What happened to the 9th survivor? Where's Mashiro Toba? He didn't want to doubt anyone, but everyone was suspicious. A can't help but think that someone set things up so they'd end this way. But who was the mastermind? All that he knew for sure was that it wasn't him. Are you sure about that, Watase? And then... It can't be Natsuhiko. He was dying in here. So, I want to make sure that at least he can get out of here. But Watase's consciousness was growing fainter by the second. Just before he lost consciousness, it happened. Shattered perception. He heard the beating of a heart. Oh, the voice was Natsuhiko, wasn't it? For a moment, he thought it was his own heartbeat. But that wasn't the case. That sound appeared to be coming from somewhere closer. He could sense that something was moving next to him. It can't be. Watase forced his eyes open and looked that way. He was standing there. Why? The boy, who was supposed to be on the brink of death, was standing tall and glaring down at Watase with wide eyes. Why had he woken up so suddenly? Why was he glaring at Watase? Watase lay there without a single answer to any of those questions. The boy then spoke to him. Get up. None of this is over yet. But at the same time he registered Natsuhiko's voice. Watase's consciousness faded into darkness. Game over. Oh my god. Epilogue! At the same time, Labo entrance hall, surface. So you're back now, Dr. Tenkawa. Yes, what's the situation? A conversation was underway. One piece of artwork, copy-pasted 5 times. Uneasy men wearing protection suits were all lined up in the hall. We cut the power and confirmed that the amplifier went offline. The readings are already decreasing. I see. So only 3 more hours to go, huh? A man asked the woman wearing a white lab coat a question. Do you think those 2 are still alive? We can only hope so. Roger that. Then we'll remain on standby. Yeah, where the hell is Anna? The men in protection suits then dispersed throughout the facility. I'll bet she goes crazy in the Anna ending. A great number of men with the same equipment were squirming about the entrance hall. A man who was being held back at the entrance to the facility started shouting. Don't give me that bullcrap. What do you mean we're not even allowed on the surface floors? The surface floors have already been evacuated. Please, wait until the bulkheads open up. As the woman listened to that noisy argument from a distance, she turned her eyes deeper toward the facility. Specifically, she was looking at a shut bulkhead. How long do they plan to keep repeating this? Repeating this? Is there a time loop going on? There wasn't a soul there who could tell what emotions lay hidden in her eyes. She just said nothing and continued to stare at the bulkhead. And far beyond that shut bulkhead, in the depths of the facility. Okay, so my guess is I have to complete both After Days and Before Crime, and then the third route opens up that covers the last 3 hours of um, of the lockdown, in the depths of the facility, lay the bodies of those who had suffered most unnatural deaths. One who had collapsed before accomplishing their goal. Those who had become victims of malice. Corpses yet undiscovered. In a life that was currently on the verge of flickering out. In a long forgotten place in a corner of the vast facility. Oh! Mashra Toba's fucking dead. Okay. Good ending, huh? Lay a girl who was bleeding out. Her life was faint, and her consciousness was on the brink of fate. How did we not find her? Did Ukita just shoot her? A faint voice passed through her barely moving lips. Natsuhiko. However, her words fell on no ears, but dissolved into the darkness instead. After End. So that's the end of After Days. Okay. Alright, I think what's going to happen is I have to do both Before Crime and After Days, and then it unlocks the true ending. Preview. Continuation of Route Double. Rokame Science City. Wait, is this a preview of a second game? The boy and his friends celebrated peaceful days. However, that peace begins to collapse due to a trivial incident. Ukita crashed his car. The mysterious girl who watches the boy from afar. With a ferret in her arms, the unsettling warning handed down by his neighbor. The boy's awakening powers and his unpleasant recollections of the past. It is amongst all of those that they will come to know true terror. To protect those most precious to them and to bury the past behind them. They head for the nuclear research facility, Labo. Even if what awaits them there is a cruel truth. Even if what awaits them.
Before crime, after days. Before.
I swear I'll save you. I will rewind your time as many times as it takes to do that. There is a time loop happening. To the next route. To Before Crisis. You unlocked answer mode for A. By selecting answer during SSS input in A, you can choose a preset value that will lead you onto a proper branch. Ooh. Sick. Okay. Alright. So I guess, huh. I guess we do Before Crisis next. Well, next we do June's ending. And I kind of want to see Anna's ending, to be honest. Excuse me. Yeah, I kind of want to see Anna's ending. There's no Anna end, just a final event. Same for June and Kazumi. Ah, okay. So I would just see the June event. Okay. Well, next we'll do the June event. And we'll see how long that takes us. And then maybe we'll start Before Crisis. Alright, but first I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to feed the cat. I'll be back in a few minutes. It's cooking time, Cobweb. Down and say hi. Check. Okay, back. So I've been advised to read some tips, which I guess I have to do from in here. I might as well load before I pick June. Tips is G. Okay. Okay, so the tips I recommend reading are 4 Fundamental Forces, Lake Rokame, Sirius, and Third Man Factor. Let's go back 13.7 billion years. In the middle of nothing, there was an unprecedented explosive expansion. This is the birth of the universe, according to the Big Bang Theory. In the beginning of the universe, in its state of extreme heat and pressure, there was only one fundamental force, but that force differentiated into 4. The force of gravity, as known from the law of universal gravitation, the strong force that binds the elementary particles known as quarks, the weak force that causes atomic nuclei to emit beta radiation during beta decay, and the electromagnetic force that works on electrically charged particles. These 4 fundamental forces, also known as 4 fundamental interactions and mediated by 4 fundamental fields, had been used to describe any interaction observed in the known universe. However, Miyoko Tenkawa proposed a 5th fundamental force in her informational field hypothesis, thus making waves in the world of physics as we know it. Lake Rokame. A wide lake on the southeastern side of Rokame City. In addition to being used for Rokame City's water services, agriculture, irrigation, and industrial water source, it is also used as a coolant for the heavy machinery in Labo's Area N. The water brought into Labo through the intake pipe heats up around 25 degrees Celsius before being expelled through the drainage pipe back into Lake Rokame. Though the water is over 50 degrees at the time of drainage, Lake Rokame is an acidotrophic lake with a low pH, and thus does not have much wildlife to begin with, so the hot water has negligible effect on the ecosystem. Okay, so I'm betting the reason that that the quote-unquote radiation, I guess it is still radiation, I'm betting the reason that the radiation causes hallucinations and stuff is because it's pure information being radiated. That would also explain why it makes people go crazy over time. Interesting. Alright, next, Sirius. Rokame City Fire Department's Special Elite Rescue Squad. A feature they possess is a strict selection test like that of the Tokyo Fire and Disaster Management Agency, meaning those who pass are true elites. Sirius is divided into teams of 6, 5 members and 1 driver, with 3 teams total. Watase serves as the captain for Team A at the top of the list. Rokame City is an exceptionally rare case where a city with a population as small as 200,000 is assigned a special elite rescue squad. There's 200,000 people, of course it qualifies for an elite rescue squad. However, the Fire Services Act was revised based on the importance placed on government-designated top-secret cities due to BC law. And, as a result, it became necessary for top-secret cities to have special elite rescue squads. A top-secret city? As in the city is a secret from everything else? That breaks my suspension of disbelief. Also, Sirius refers to the alpha star of Canis Major. An alpha star is the brightest star in a particular constellation. The star Sirius is the next brightest star seen from Earth following the Sun. In the eyes of survivors trapped in fires and calamities, their stars of hope wear orange jumpsuits. Those stars are Rokame City Fire Department's Special Elite Rescue Squad Sirius, or Rickford Circe. And Third Man Factor. It is a tale of a life-threatening situation. Someone hears a voice that is neither their own nor their partner's. The voice tells them to keep on living for as long as they can. Encouraged by that voice, they are able to survive. The third man factor is the phenomenon people encounter during life or death situations where a supernatural existence leads the way to survival. At times, it encourages them, guides them to safety, or even appears as more than just a voice, taking the guise of a person. It appears in various situations like high mountains, battlefields, remote lands, and accident scenes. It cannot be explained as a mere near-death hallucination. Are these all occurrences of communicators in the past? While the possibility of BC users existing since ancient times cannot be denied, it may be something else. An omnipresent third man that intervenes with people throughout the world. An existence that comes to the aid of those struggling for survival. Could such a thing actually exist? Interesting. BC law, huh? Top secret cities and BC law. How do you keep a city secret? A city of 200,000. Do you Truman Show that shit? Lock it in a dome? How are people not coming in and out? How are people not coming in and out of a city of 200,000 people? How is that not visible from orbit? Very curious indeed. Huh. Okay. Okay. Well, now we're going to do June. Boy. Okay. Oh, answer. Huh. All right, what path am I going down to get to the June scene? Maybe I'll just do it manually. Gotta put June high if this is the one between her, Kazumi, and Enna. This is one between everybody but Yuri and Watase. I don't remember this being all these choices last time. let's skip forward to the next. Ah, here we go. Okay, yeah. This is June High, Kazumi, and Anna middling. Okay. This will get me June. Now I fast forward for 10 minutes. Put her higher than what to say on the first choice. Okay. Do I keep June high? Keep her maxed out. Okay, cool. I'll call you over when I'm done, so just wait a bit, okay? Okay. Yeah. Alright, let's fast forward for the next 10 minutes. Thanks. I'll leave that to you. The emergency staircase here is out, but I set up a rope in there to get up. Use that to climb up and get to searching. No prob. Just leave it to me. June immediately headed for the stairwell. Captain, do you find anything? Do I keep myself lower than June, or do I max myself out as well? June higher. Okay, cool. Oh, you're worried, but don't lose hope. Does that mean the survivors are constantly moving, therefore still full of energy? I think that's much better than collapsing due to radiation exposure. I see. Yeah, I guess you can think of it that way too, huh? But it may be too optimistic. However, it's much better for us to have hope than to throw it away. Got that right. The team nodded. Now that they were searching for a second time, their fatigue was catching up with them. It was very easy to get discouraged when searching the same place all over again. And who knows, maybe Tachibana and Teach already found them. Shouldn't we keep going on with that hope in mind? Watase finished cheering up his companions and headed on towards the next site, Area 1. Area 1, Inner Ring, B2. Fast forward. Alright. Keep her maxed. Okay. I am going to save, actually. Keep her maxed. Okay. Do I keep Anna mid? No, I have to save time. So I max Anna? Anna high. Okay, thought so. It's open. Anna high. Okay, now Anna high, right? Do I just keep Anna high, and then when the question comes up of how to deal with it, I keep all three of them high? Yes, I keep all 3 of them high. Okay. Okay, keep Anna high. Okay, so here's the question. In the Kazumi and Ena routes, we were running from June. And Kazumi and Ena didn't go crazy until later. We never saw Ena go crazy, and Kazumi didn't go crazy until we were done with her scene. But June goes crazy before the divergence. So what's gonna... Hang on. What's gonna happen with June? How are we gonna get a June scene? Okay, June. Keep June maxed for the rest of the run. Keep the kids high, right? Kazumi high? Cool. Want to say over Ukita. Okay. Now want to say hi. Okay. Save. Now Kazumi and June above Watase. Just really bouncing Watase's dating sim values up and down. We really have been fast forwarding for 10 minutes. I'll do it until June's event where, yes, hi. Gotcha. Cool. And I'm off to Area N. Just sit here with the control button held down. Press Z, it'll still stop at choices. I could do that. This is really bad. Moribase brought out the engine cutter. June high. Kazumi's pained statement was absolutely correct, but Watase couldn't accept that. Loribe and I are buddies. Even though she doubts me and thinks I've betrayed her trust, there's no way in hell I could let myself run away from her. Watase steeled himself and turned to Kazumi. Tachibana, take care of those kids. What are you thinking? I'm gonna bet all or nothing on persuading her. Don't follow me, you hear? Watase left Natsuhiko in Kazumi's capable hands, left her to carry two teenagers alone, and leapt out from the shadow of the passageway. Loribe! Yeah, what happened? Who hit you, June? June's body shook with a start. She gripped the engine cutter firmly and stared at Watase. Captain? Loribe, what do you think you're doing with that thing? What, you ask? You're asking me that? Loribe, were you the one who broke the door to that office? Watase took her silence as a yes. He could tell that a look of sorrow was forming on his face. God damn it. The June who was prowling the facility while muttering curses and wielding a tool of destruction. She seemed like a totally different person from the June he knew. The June who kept on running around and doing her best in spite of her small stature. The June who plunged right into the contaminated zone alongside him without any concern for her own safety. The June who Watase will probably kiss to snap her out of her crazed actions. The June who chose this line of work in order to save people in spite of the wounds she carried on her heart and back from Nagisa's death. So why? Why the hell do you need to carry that thing around? June gave Watase a sad smile after she heard his shouts. You see, Captain, it just hit me all of a sudden. You can't protect everyone in this screwed up place without getting your hands dirty. Oh, Anna probably hit her. So stop it. That's not the right way. Watase walked up to June. Her face froze over at that action. Captain, stay back. I don't trust you either. I won't be able to stop myself if you get any closer. Shut up. If you're gonna kill me, then do it already. She goes, okay, and slices him up. Just guts him like Dr. Salvador with Leon in RE4. Resolution filled June's eyes. Watase was just 5 meters away from her. Watase took another step forward. Just then, Kazumi shouted from behind. Captain, it's too dangerous. Fall back. The resolution in June's eyes wavered. Just 3 meters left. Watase then slipped right past the engine cutter and leapt at June. June gasped. Watase embraced her. Huh? What's wrong? Aren't you going to kill me? I'd be fine with it if you were the one who ended up killing me. Yep, it's a love scene. June's body froze right up. Are you being serious? Half serious, yeah, but I believe that you're not that kind of woman. You believe in me? On what grounds? You don't know a thing about me. Yes, I do. You're my buddy, my partner, who's always got my back. I trust you, even if you don't trust me. That won't change. Just then, June breathed a silent breath. I see. So that's how it is, huh? So you're my buddy no matter how much I doubt you, huh? The edge in June's voice had vanished. Watase carefully chose his words as he spoke. If you truly believe that, then please stop before you do something you'll regret. Hey, where's the blood on her face? You're a rescue worker, right? Isn't it your job to save people? Yeah. That's why I can't do what you say. Oh, that was short-lived. Watase's eyes widened, just as June pushed him away from her. Ugh. Watase was taken by surprise and fell to the floor. Shit, is she really gonna kill me? Watase looked up in shock. But June's next attack never came. She just took a step back and looked at Watase. You're right. A rescue worker's job is to save lives. But that's exactly why I've got to do this. Huh? It's okay if you don't understand. You and the lieutenant better get going now. I don't want to talk about this, you know. Those words shook the foundation of Watase's beliefs. She talked like Watase wasn't her target. Oh, she is chasing down Ukita, like in that bad ending. Well, Loreweaver? Just what are you after? I can't tell you. You're the one person I don't want knowing what I'm about to do. Where's the blood on her face? But I'll just say this. You and I are no longer buddies. June then turned around and broke off into a run down the connecting passageway. Loreweaver, wait! Please, tell me what you're doing. But June refused to answer that question. It disappeared behind the security gate. Watase soon heard the sound of Kazumi running up to him. Captain, are you all right? Well, my ego's a bit bruised. Watase didn't answer her. He just stared at the shut security gate. What the hell just happened? I don't know. However, she's gone back to the way she was just a few minutes ago. I never dreamed she would ever act this way. Lament filled Kazumi's face. Can't believe we've been unbuddied. I know, the tragedy. Watase wrapped his arms around her shoulders and spoke. I'm sorry. I totally failed to persuade her. Old man Ukita might have heard the ruckus and be on his way over now. We need to get away from here for now. Yes. Do you like that June's the only one Watase doesn't kiss in their final event? It makes sense with Kazumi and Enna, who each had some build to it. Plus, I like them being buddies more than romantic interests. Yeah, I agree. Watase and Kazumi carried Natsuhiko and Salyu on their backs again and ran down the passageway. They looked around for a place to hide without stopping. They fled into the Area 3 connecting passageway and closed the gate before Kazumi chose to speak up in a frightened voice. But where do you think we should run? Is there even a single safe place in this facility? While they didn't know what June's motive was, they couldn't let their guard down so long as she had her engine cutter. If her target happened to be Natsuhiko or Salyu, then they'd be screwed no matter what room they hid in. She'd just break down the door. But if we keep running around with these kids on our backs, we're going to get caught eventually. Watase checked his watch. It read 2:51 p.m. There were just 15 minutes left until the AD wore off. Okay, we're past the June stuff, right? Yeah, we are. Okay. I can begin B. Excellent. How do I... Hang on. T returns to title. Okay. I can begin B. New game, right? Hang on. Continue. Oh, it just takes me to these. Okay. New game. A certain accident traps children in Labo, a nuclear research facility. It is then that the boy is caught up in a mysterious phenomenon. He finds himself recalling the past as if he were reliving it. A strange phenomenon indeed. He soon watches once again as a trivial incident causes his peaceful days to collapse. What awaits him at the end is a shocking, cruel truth. Can the past be rewritten? A tip for Route B. The census system is still there and you still have values with characters. However, unlike with Route A, you can just get everyone's flags and finale events in one playthrough so long as you keep their positive points high. No need for all this reloading. Okay, so I just max everyone then? Well, no. Oh, yeah, I do just max everyone? Okay. I've been waiting for this. Yeah, it's exciting to finally get to Route B. Not max in census, maxes in get points. Let's see. What do you think? Should I do this on my own and try to get them correctly and then have to play the whole game again? Because I definitely won't. Or do you think I should get guided on each choice? Ooh, ow, ooh, ow. Oh, tingle in my toes. I'll inform you if you go below a threshold, that way we won't have to reload too far. Okay, so I'll just, endings cleared. Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot I didn't do. There are 10 I didn't clear. Okay, so I'll just, you're going to learn very quickly why I never recommend starting this game with B. Yeah, I assume it's spoilery as hell. Okay, so I'll save before every choice. I'll try to make the choice, and you can tell me if I made the wrong one. Got it. Story date, 6 days before Route A. There are 2 grayed out endings and 3 non. Okay. Am I locked out of these because I did A first, or am I locked out of these because I... Huh. Okay. Weird. Alright. I will actually be right back. I gotta go to the bathroom. And then we will start B. Alright, sorry that took so long. Let's go. Oh man, this is gonna be wild, isn't it? Alright, let's do this. You have taken from me my closest friends, and have made me repulsive to them. I am confined and cannot escape. Yuri? The Old Testament, Psalms 88:8. I get an achievement for starting before? That's a lame achievement. The roar echoed through the laboratory at daybreak, as if it were a bell heralding the end. What? The boy gasped in shock. Wait, am I not seeing this from Natsuhiko's perspective? Am I seeing this from Mashiro Toba's perspective? The boy gasped in shock. Oh no, it's everybody, okay. The girls screamed beside him. They felt the tremors through the floor. Heard the jibber-jabbering of all the researchers. Explosions? Several of them? Natsuhiko, could this be? The boy called to Natsuhiko, gritted his teeth at the girl's words. Yeah, it is. We didn't make it in time. His words were drowned out by the shrill shriek of an alarm. September 16th, 2030. 6:19 a.m. At the 6th Laboratory of Atomic and Biological Organization. A scientific research facility located on the outskirts of Rokame City. An explosion occurred. Kaboom! Game over, the end. A calm, automated voice read out an announcement. Security has shifted to evacuation mode. All gates, barring those leading to Area N, have been opened. 1 second. All personnel, please calmly evacuate to the surface levels. Everyone seemed to be confused by the fragmentary information. What happened? I don't know. Were those explosions? Explosions in this facility? The announcement continued as if to answer that question. Excuse me. This is an emergency broadcast. Explosions of unknown origin have just occurred within the facility. From our current understanding of the situation, explosions occurred simultaneously in 10 different locations inside the facility. Fires have broken out as a result. Researchers Eriguchi and Kashiwagi. Persona flashbacks. Please come to Area 2 post-haste. Explosions in 10 different locations. Unknown origin? What do you mean, unknown origin? As the men shuddered, a female scientist muttered. Why are you smiling, Miyoko? It's okay. This facility is equipped with layers upon layers of disaster prevention systems. No matter what happens, it shouldn't escalate to a large-scale disaster. About that, our safety is guaranteed, so there's no need to worry. She spoke softly and gently to quell their fears with hope. But that hope was trampled soon enough. The sprinkler system's not working. Why? Damn it, hurry up with the personnel evacuation. The systems that were supposedly their last ray of hope proved to be completely ineffective. They've even confirmed fires in the factory. The equipment undergoing development's going up in flames now. You've got to be kidding me. Do you even realize how much it costs to develop that? We can't let it go up in flames. Put it out manually. There's another fire breaking out in Hall 4. Breaking out in Hall 4. Who can extinguish the flames if nobody can even reach the factory? Chaos and hysteria dominated the facility. Anxiety began to spread. And, as if to top it all off, a new announcement rang out. Heightened readings confirmed in Area N. Emergency shutdown system has been initiated. All personnel, including those in the Area N control room, please evacuate to the surface levels immediately. The moment the announcement ended, the silence shifted to sheer panic. Heightened readings? Let's just go to the surface level for now. To the remote control room. This elevator's no good. Use the stairs. The stairs! Everyone shouted their lungs out. Administer AD. We've got emergency stockpiles of it, don't we? That explains why there was almost none left. I never thought we'd actually need to use it. Don't panic. Just follow the manual. They did their best to adapt to the situation. But it was all too late by then. The emergency staircases have collapsed. All the elevators are offline too. There's no way out. Impossible. How did this happen? Their escape routes were cut off. And they had no way of knowing why. Nobody understood what was going on. Nobody, with a few exceptions, that is. Are we about to see Watase? Natsuhiko and the girls stared at the collapsed staircase in exasperation. Damn it, this is all they're doing. Them and the piano-playing orchestra. How could the situation have gotten this bad? What do we do, Natsuhiko? Have we ever seen Mashiro before in-game? Like her talk sprite? Have we ever encountered her in the A route? We ran into Solyu and Natsuhiko, but I don't think we ever ran into Mashiro. The girl beside him grieved. Just how much time did they have left? As he pondered that question, the boy looked at his watch, but to his dismay... one of the explosions had broken it. The watch's date had stopped at 9:16, its hands at 6:19. What a hell of a coincidence. A time he'd likely never forget for the rest of his life. If only we had gotten here just a little bit sooner. But even if they were late, there was still meaning in their arrival. Natsuhiko tried to walk off, but the girl grabbed him by the hand. Hold it, Natsuhiko. Where do you think you're going in a crisis like this? I'm gonna find those bastards. Wait, Natsuhiko, you don't mean... I'm gonna put an end to their plan. I can still do something. With the power of this gun I brought. No, you can't. Natsuhiko, calm down. Watase definitely brought the gun, yeah. Why? You agreed that we should come here, didn't you, Mashiro? The situation's completely changed. It's too late now. It's never too late. I'm sure I can still make it. Besides, even if we do run, it's not going to change anything. So in that case... The moment those words left his lips, a sharp pain ran through his cheek. The girl had slapped him. Do you want to suffer another loss that badly? Those words gouged out his heart. And then another roar rang out. Another explosion. Where? Please, Natsuhiko, let's get out of here already. The girl's pleading voice shook Natsuhiko's heart. And he just stays silent. Okay, let's look for a way out of here first. And thus they ran, looking for an exit. Excuse me, without knowing what laid ahead of them. And thus, the long day that they'd later look back to time and time again had begun. Let's look for another staircase. There has to be a safe one somewhere. Do you know the layout of the facility? We should look into that first. It's dangerous to run blindly without an escape plan. Solyu, what are you doing? Looking for a keycard, I'll bet. I'm looking for a map of the facility. I think that last broken staircase we saw was the outer ring emergency staircase. Looks like there's an inner ring emergency staircase nearby too, huh? Okay, so let's head there first. Fire? How'd a fire break out here so fast? Don't tell me it was set here to prevent the people from escaping the facility. Ugh, it's too dangerous here. Let's look for another path. I'll go check if the path to Area 2 is safe. Roger, be careful. They ran with all the courage they could muster to escape from the facility and survive. But in the midst of their path... Huh? He came across another Natsuhiko. Oh, Yuri! He ran into her. Yuri? There stood Yuri. The girl who lived in Natsuhiko's home. The girl who was supposed to be waiting for them at home. She set the bombs! The girl who shouldn't have been here. What's Yuri doing? Natsuhiko gazed at her in astonishment. Yuri, why did you come here? Sadly muttered this. What about you, Yuri? Why are you here? She pulls out a gun. You left home? As he asked this question, Natsuhiko thought back and recalled the journey that brought him here. Eventually, Yuri spoke in a lonely voice. Are you having a flashback, Natsuhiko? I'm trying to talk to you. So, that's what happened. And smiled as if a weight had been taken off her shoulders. At that moment, a flash flickered right beside them. Yuri! Natsuhiko swiftly lunged at Yuri, and not a second later, a shockwave struck them. Ah! Natsuhiko and Yuri were blown away. Game over. In the split second before they hit the ground, the events that led up to today flashed before Natsuhiko's eyes. How did this happen? The answer lied in his memories. That's the answer lay in his memories, translators. It all began that fateful day. On the Sector 2 expressway, right before fighting Sephiroth. 6 days ago. September 10th, 2030. Back before anybody had even expected things would turn out this way. Back when everything was still peaceful. If Yuri lives in Natsuhiko's house, That memory Watase saw of a young Yuri was definitely Natsuhiko's. What if I was right and quote-unquote Watase was Natsuhiko's mind transplanted and there was a mind swap between Watase and Natsuhiko? Eventually, in the deep depths of his fading consciousness, "Awake," a voice called to him. Or perhaps it was merely a memory of such a voice. He heard that voice as he lay beneath the whitewashed tomb. And then time began to move. Start of the first day. Start of the save. When Natsuhiko woke up that day, he found himself on his own bed, which was only to be expected. He had always slept and woken up in this room for as long as he could remember. He got up, put on his glasses he had set aside, and stretched his arms out wide. I feel you, man. I tried to take a nap earlier, and it wrecked me. I woke up at exactly the wrong time. I am so tired. He felt as though he had awoken from a worrying dream, but he couldn't remember what it was. A cursory look at his watch showed that it was 9:10 at 6:19. Oh, so literally exactly 6 days before the terrorist attack. His watch was perfectly measuring the flow of time today, as usual. Not even once had it broken these past 10 years. Man, is this Natsuhiko's normal mental routine when he wakes up? Just going over how everything's the same as it always is? That's... Oh, 6:19. That's not... Oh, the 10 there is the date, not 10 on the clock. I was wondering why that was over there. He climbed out of bed, changed into his uniform, and left his room. Before Chapter 1, September 10th chapter, 6 days until the incident. Once he entered the living room, he heard some light humming coming from the kitchen. Good morning. Once he called out to her, good morning. The one humming cheerfully replied. The newscaster on TV was rambling on in a matter-of-fact tone of voice. Next on the news. Early this morning, Rokame City's BC Training Center received objectionable literature from an extremist group. BC Training Center. Not Labo. A connection to the recently held BC seminar was also identified. The police are now working with the city security department to... Natsuhiko casually let the news in one ear and out the other, thinking to himself. Almost time for her to wake up, huh? As soon as that thought crossed his mind, he heard the living room door open. Do you just wear a maid outfit, like, in your regular day-to-day life, Yuri? It's such a ridiculous outfit. And why the hat? Good morning, Yuri. Hikari and Masharon, good morning. Yuri sank onto the table as she muttered the nicknames she had for those two. Oh, Masharo's here too. Is she the cheerful voice? Do these kids live together without parents? And right around that time, the other girl came out of the kitchen. Good morning, Yuri. Breakfast is just about done. Brightly sounding the morning meal call was Mashiro, Natsuhiko's childhood friend. Yuri was about to fall back to sleep before Mashiro's voice woke her up. Yay, food time, food time. What's on the menu today? Hash browns, bacon and eggs, salad, omelets, and orange juice. Oh, that sounds... Well, the salad and omelets don't sound great, but hash browns, bacon, and eggs sound so good right now. Meat! Give me meat! A classic all-American breakfast. But this isn't America. Wow, starting the day off with a full meal, huh? Looks delicious. Now then, boys and girls, put your hands together. Thanks for the food. And thus they began their breakfast as usual. Yep, it's delicious, just like you'd expect from Mashiron. Yeah, it's amazing how you can make all of this in such a short amount of time. I'm just used to it. I mean, I have been doing this for over half a year now. Mashiro gave an embarrassed grin upon being complimented. Just another typical breakfast at the Tenkawa residence. Now that I think about it, it's a little strange, huh? We're not even family. Though they were all sharing a meal at the same table, none of the people here were related. Polycule writes, the only family Natsuhiko had was his mother. His father passed away before Natsuhiko could remember. His mother worked hard to support them, to the point she became a serious workaholic. She spent most of her time at work, seldom returning home. Oh, Miyoko, what are you doing? As Natsuhiko sat, lost in thought, a concerned voice called out to him. Huh? Hikarin, you've barely touched your food. Does your tummy hurt? No, I'm fine. I just wanted to savor the food as I ate. Really? That's good. This girl's name was Yuri Kotono. She was Natsuhiko's childhood friend, and 2 years his senior. She's older than him? She started living in this house with Natsuhiko long ago due to extenuating circumstances. They grew up like siblings, and even today they seemed like real family members. Yuri was a kind girl, and would always worry about Natsuhiko, almost to a fault. I might not look it, but I've got a sturdy body. I've always got a healthy appetite. And with that declaration, he stuffed his cheeks with bread, causing a different cheerful voice to chime in this time. Oh, I like how you eat, Natsuhiko. Makes all that effort worth it. This girl's name was Mashiro Toba. She didn't exactly live with Natsuhiko. She was another one of Natsuhiko's childhood friends, but she only started having breakfast here about half a year ago. In the absence of his mother, Natsuhiko generally did most of the chores in the Tenkawa residence. But skillful and adaptable as he was, even Natsuhiko had something he wasn't good at, and that something was cooking. Prior to Natsuhiko entering high school, a commuting housekeeper had prepared his meals, but this spring she had to resign for personal reasons, and his mother never replaced her. And that's when Natsuhiko's mother asked Mashiro to help prepare breakfast and dinner, since they lived in the same neighborhood. And this 15-year-old happily agreed to do that every morning? Show up early, cook for a friend, and alright, well I guess that, that doesn't sound too bad if you know how to cook. Hopefully she's being paid, yeah. Natsuhiko bowed his head to Mashiro's words and muttered softly. But still, sorry for making you do this all the time, Mashiro. What do you mean? Your mother pays me after all. Okay, she does get paid, good. So it's kind of like a part-time job. And besides, it's not like I do it for you or anything. If I had to say, I do it more for Yuri. Right, Yuri? I'm happy to hear that, but God, those weird moe eyes are so creepy. Look at her. Oh, that's so weird. Ah, I see how it is. Well, I don't care either way, as long as I get to eat delicious food. And then, as if to interrupt their peaceful chit-chat, an unsettling voice rang out. Next on the news. Last night, a fire broke out at the BC Development Center, a research facility in Rokame City. 6 research buildings burned down. A fire? Suddenly, silence spread across the dining table, but the newscaster continued matter-of-factly. At the time of the fire, several staff members and researchers were inside the facility. But the fire department rescue squad was dispatched, and fortunately brought everyone out alive. Later, Space Maddo. Thanks for hanging out. Everyone was saved. That's great. Yeah, I guess. Huh? Oh, that's an uncaring thing to say. You're so cold, Natsuhiko. You think so? Nothing really productive happens if you let things on the other side of the TV screen get to you, does it? But it did happen in this town. Okay. Guys, you live in a city of 200,000 people. It's not a town. It's a city. So you can't really say we're completely uninvolved. Things have gotten dangerous around here lately. Like some sort of incidents just waiting to happen. You're overthinking things. I'm sure this town's safe. The town they lived in was quite good about public order. It was unthinkable that any of them would get caught up in an incident. Oh? What was that? However, at that time, Yuri shook her head and quietly spoke. Are we having cloud strife glitches? Hikarin, you shouldn't let yourself become too careless. Is Yuri Sephiroth in this equation? Huh? Dreadful incidents don't just happen on the other side of the TV screen, you know. After all, something completely unexpected could happen to you too, Hikarin. Natsuhiko's expression stiffened upon hearing such an ominous prediction. No way. He tried to say that, but his voice wouldn't come out. Dreadful incidents don't happen twice. His peaceful days would continue forever without even the slightest disturbance. At least that's what he always thought. Yet a disturbance was exactly what Natsuhiko suddenly noticed out of the corner of his eye. His prized watch from years ago had broken sometime when he wasn't looking. My, when did it? Natsuhiko was still unaware of why that watch of his had broken. The watch dial read 9:16, 6:19. That was the time Natsuhiko's watch broke. We apologize for interrupting you so early on, but there are no choices in this world. Regardless, we need your power to link this world to the future. So the Senses Sympathy System has been prepared. Okay? This tutorial will explain SSS. Before that happens, let me explain what we mean by senses. Senses refer to impressions. Okay? Get a free point by doing the tutorial. Okay. There we go. Yuri. Hi. Yuri. Hi. The Enneagram will be glowing blue. However, the girl's favor towards the boys is very important to him. A tragic result may be awaiting in the worst case scenario. Please look over the situation calmly and select your senses carefully. We are expecting your feelings to have a good effect on this world. When did his watch break? What was the meaning behind Yuri's cryptic message? Natsuhiko thought for a moment in bewilderment, but eventually just shrugged. You're such a worrywart, Yuri. Huh? It's okay. Nothing scary's gonna happen, okay? I'm not the same guy I was in the past. I don't plunge head first into danger. Oh, sure you don't. You're right. I'm sorry. I just get kind of anxious when I see gloomy stories on the news like that. Oh, my spine. Oh. No, it's nothing to worry about. As he spoke, he glanced at his watch and was taken aback. What? He could have sworn he saw that his watch was broken just a second ago. But on closer inspection, the dial was unscratched and the hands were ticking away as always. Man, 6 a.m. is way too early for anybody to wake up, let alone growing kids. Like, that's not okay. School needs to start later in the day. Nine 10, 6:49. There was nothing strange about the time displayed either. Guess I was seeing things. It seemed a bit strange, but he had no other explanation. When Natsuhiko and Yuri exchanged smiles, a slightly exasperated Mashiro chimed in. What are you two muttering so seriously about? Uh-huh. Save. Let's raise my points high. It's so early in the morning, so let's keep the conversation bright and cheerful. When he heard Mashiro's suggestion, Natsuhiko declined. Now, what's wrong with a solemn morning every now and then? Oh, but that's kind of depressing. Mashiro seemed a little dissatisfied, but, well, Yuri's a little depressed too, so what can I say? With that thought in mind, he let her be. And thus their breakfast quietly came to an end. I keep forgetting to look and see if I get points. Did I get points for that? After breakfast, Natsuhiko quickly got dressed. He grabbed his bag, turned on the lights, and bade farewell to Yuri as she was staying at home. I got no points. Is that... Should I go back? Oh, my head. You get a point if you want to, but you're not screwed yet. Okay, let's see. Let's get a point with Mashiro. Cheerful. Natsuhiko obliged. You're right. What's something fun we can talk about? Let's see. How about we talk about this season's morning anime? It's just about time for one of my top recommendations to air too, so let's all watch it together. Is this a Saturday? Well, no. They have school on Saturdays. Is this a Sunday? Oh, anime talk again. No, it can't be a Sunday. Like, it's got to be a school day. They put on their uniforms. Mashiron sure loves anime. What's with that cold response, guys? I just want to eat delicious food while watching morning anime with my best buddies. There's no greater happiness than that. Sounds more like the breakfast of losers to me. Come on, Natsuhiko. It does sound like a good time, though. Yuri spoke with a smile. Her earlier worries had seemingly subsided. Okay then, Mashiro. So what's this recommendation of yours? This. As soon as Mashiro changed the channel, the opening theme to a children's anime began playing. They all began watching as they enjoyed their breakfast. After breakfast, Natsuhiko quickly got dressed. He was already dressed. He was wearing his uniform. He grabbed his bag, turned on the lights, and bade farewell to Yuri as she was staying at home. Bye, Yuri. We're off to school. Watch over the house for us, okay, Yuri? Does she not go to school? Does she not go to school? That's not cool. Children should go to school, even if it's early in the morning. Have a nice day. And with that farewell, Natsuhiko and Mashiro left the house. As they got outside, a cool breeze brushed against their cheeks. Oh, man, looks like the weather's getting perfect for walking, huh? Yeah, feels like fall will soon be upon us. A day like this would be perfect for a leisurely stroll to school through the breeze, but... How old is Natsuhiko? Maybe she graduated? Oh yeah, she is 2 years older than him. How old is Natsuhiko? A quick glance at his watch told Natsuhiko that they only had around 5 minutes to make it to the bus stop in time. Crap, we're really going to be late at this rate, you know? No way. Let's run for it, Natsuhiko. Yeah. With bacon in our mouths, because we don't have bread. Natsuhiko and Mashiro broke off into a mad dash. To the bus stop closest to Natsuhiko's home. Man, this is a cheery start to the route. Along the way, they spotted the bus already at the stop. Mashiro, hurry, or the bus will leave us behind. But just after Natsuhiko said that, the bus had already begun to depart. They needed to get on that bus or they'd be late for sure. Hey, hold on a second. Driver, sir! Natsuhiko's yelling fell on deaf ears as the bus began to speed away. Well, I guess it's not like he could hear me. Mashiro, what do... Mashiro's on the bus. Natsuhiko turned to Mashiro and immediately held his tongue. Oh, is she trying to psychically get the driver back here? He had thought she was running along behind him, but she was instead standing still with her eyes closed, and her index finger to her temple. Hey, Mushroom, you're not... 1 second, I'm concentrating. Mashiro said thus, and the very next moment... Stop! A voice rang out in all directions that seemed loud enough to reverberate the very core of one's mind. The birds in the trees flew away all at once. Okay, so she's powerful. A dog basking in the sunny sidewalk leapt to its feet and scurried away in surprise. And finally, the bus that had left the two far behind suddenly braked. Whew, looks like he heard, huh? Sure did. Natsuhiko held down his ears as he spoke. He felt like his eardrums were still shaking from that loud voice earlier, but... Oh wait, it's got nothing to do with my ears. That voice was reverberating directly in Natsuhiko's brain. Mashiro, you used BC, didn't you? BC is the ability to communicate ideas directly to someone else's brain. A power one must never use recklessly. Well, she sure did. Okay, so this immediately spoils that there are psychics in the... I don't remember when you learn about psychic powers in After Days. Huh. A power one must never use recklessly. And yet, in light of an accusation of said reckless use, Mashiro nonchalantly replied, well, if our voices couldn't reach him, why not directly appeal to his heart, if you catch my drift? Alright, well, he's gonna start going in a minute, so, start running. No, I do catch your drift there, but I mean, you can't go making mass untargeted transmissions like that. It's not like I had a choice. Our attendance record was on the line there. Oh, boy. Don't come crying to me if you get arrested for violating regulations. Don't worry about it. They won't bother punishing a violation that minor. Natsuhiko and Mashiro rushed to the stopped bus as they had that exchange. And 20 long minutes after they narrowly managed to board the bus, Natsuhiko and Mashiro arrived at their school, Rokume Academy. Okay, Shy, I am extremely tired and I'm having a hard time focusing. So why don't we reach a good stopping point and call it for the day? And we'll continue before Crisis on our next stream date. Okay. Is this a good stopping point, or do you want me to go a little bit further? If you want, we can read the tip I just got. That is true. Well, let's save, first off. Tips are G. What? Rokume Academy. As Rokume is stated to be an academic research city, it has an abundance of educational institutions. The most characteristic of the city is the communicator-exclusive Rokume Academy. The lessons and curriculum are tailored to include BC history and the individual development of BC abilities, and thus students with higher ability levels are given more benefits such as scholarships. Rokume Academy has integrated elementary, middle, and high school campuses with roughly 300 elementary students, 150 middle school students, and 90 high school students. Considering how the grand communicator discovery that sparked the boom of communicator births was only 16 years ago, the high school students are said to be the forerunners of the future BC society. As the premier school that gets the honor of carrying the city's name, the study environment is extremely satisfactory, including the generous distribution of teaching materials, such as a 7-inch tablet for every student. That's kind of standard these days, isn't it? A tablet for kids? Interesting lore. Okay. Alright, well, that is where we're going to stop for today. So I'll read my schedule and get off. Before I do, I would like to plug a couple of things. First, I'd like to plug my Patreon, which you can find at patreon.com/LoreweaverStreams. Links also in the description of the YouTube video, and can be found with the !Patreon command in Twitch chat. I make my living off of Patreon. It's my sole source of income, and I make enough to pay my rent and my bills, but I don't really make much beyond that. I'm kind of just scraping by. And I'd really like to have something for savings, for medical emergencies, for if I need to replace stuff. You know, the usual. And I haven't had that for a very long time. So if you could go to my Patreon, pledge $1 a month or $1 per stream or anything in between, pledge a bunch per stream if you really want to change my life, I would be grateful. I'm grateful to everybody who pledges because you're the reason I have this strange, silly job that I love so much. It's because of you guys that I get to make content, that I get to stream, that I get to blog, that I get to do all this every day for you guys. So I'm grateful. Thank you. There is also an open slot right now for picking a game for me to play. You can pledge $40 to $80 a month to get to pick a game for me to play for 4 to 8 hours per month. If you want to snag that, get it quick. There's only one slot open. It just opened up, and I don't know when it's going to go away. So, grab that. I could really use the money, to be honest. All right. So, my schedule. Tomorrow we'll be playing Small Saga for a patron. Thursday there's not going to be a stream because I am recording a podcast with Teddy and Love. Friday we'll be playing Yakuza 0 for a patron. Saturday will of course be our weekly Final Fantasy XIV stream. Sunday will be The Somnium Files for a patron. Monday will be The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask for a patron. And next Tuesday will be more Small Saga for a patron. That'll be it for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. And I will see you next time.